Red here, and this is week 2, part 2 of Rosin the Beau. And this week we're going to be talking about the chords and how to do the chords. And I'm not going to put, a lot of times I'll put the chords up here, the chords down here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to call out the chords. And one of the things, and I'll explain this as we get into the lesson, is I want you to start listening for the chord changes. Don't get afraid. You won't get lost in this. We're going to take it nice and slow, nice and easy. And you want to learn that way, slow and easy. Don't rush it. Don't beat yourself up if you're not getting it. Just take your time. This is a 24/7 library that you have full access to anytime you want. You can repeat the lessons over and over. And if you don't get the lesson, you don't move on. You just keep slowly working, because slow, if you've taken my lessons for any length of time, you hear me say, learn slow, learn well. And that's what you want to do. So I do want to thank my patrons for making these lessons possible. I could not do this without their help. It's only because of those who are giving to this program that this program can continue. If you're watching these lessons, I want to thank you for your participation in that. And I would also ask, if you're watching these lessons, to share these lessons, to put a comment beneath, to like these lessons. And that helps with my ratings with YouTube. A lot of people think that if you like or unlike a video, that helps YouTube sort of pick which videos you like. That has nothing to do with it. It really helps the creator of the videos to get higher up in the ratings when you comment, when you like, when they see that participation. So I want to thank those of you who will share these lessons, who will comment, who will reach down right now, hint, hint, and hit that like button. And but I want to thank my patrons, because I couldn't do it without them. I've said this before, I've not made a penny yet profit doing these lessons. And the only way that these lessons are out there, the only reason you have access to them 24/7 without any kind of fee or charge, is because of those who are investing in their own learning process, who are giving to help support this program. So I want to thank my patrons. Again, I couldn't do it without you. And thank you so much. So we're going to get started with the lesson, and here we go. So let's get started on the chords to Rosin the Beau. And we're going to try a little bit of a different approach. And I've been weaning away from putting the chords up on the screen, because I really want you to use your ears rather than your eyes. One thing that will help you to hear the chord changes is if you hum the tune as you're playing it, so that you're in, even if you don't have a good voice, it doesn't really matter. You're learning, nobody's around. I don't have a good voice. You got to get over that. And you just hum along with it, and you'll start hearing the chord changes. We're going to be going from D to G to D. All right. Then you're going to hear the B minor, which will be very, very obvious. So you're just playing D, 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 G, D, D, E minor. Now you're not hearing the tune with that. Da da dun da 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 dun 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 dun. And that's why I said even singing with that will help you to hear that. So we're going to get started nice and slow. I'm just going to do the first strum of each measure, and don't even think about the measure. Just listen. You're doing it on the downbeat of the tune. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So you're going to come in after the first melody note. So you're going to hear a total of 2 beats, then the melody note, then you're going to come in with a D. D, 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 G, D, D, B minor, back to D, back to G, D, A, D. Second part, D, D, G, D, B minor, D, 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 G, D, A. Something to think about here. When you're starting over, you're doing 3 Ds in a row. It's your third one. 1 G, D, 2 Ds, B minor. And I'm talking about measures. D, 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 G, D, A, D. D, here's your G, D, D, B minor, D, to G, D, A. I'm just going to call it the chords for you. D, 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 G, D, D, B minor, B minor, D, 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 G, D, A, D. Here with D, 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 G, G, D, D, B minor, B minor, D, 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 G, D, A, D. So you want to make sure that you have that memorized, that chord progression. Play this over and over and over again. And I'm going to give you a practice track. And then next week we're going to do just an intermediate because we don't really need a fast jam and you don't really need a slow jam. You could do that with this. And I'll be doing the melody, then the backup, the melody like we usually do. But enjoy this, practice it, work on it, take your time. If this takes 2, 3, 4 weeks, that's fine. You don't have to keep up with these lessons on a weekly basis. And that's the great thing about these type of lessons. So if I can help you at all, let me know. Here's your own practice track. Have fun with this, and we will see you next week for our third part of Rosin the Beau.